It's been 5 years since Meghan Markle left the palace gates and walked into what many thought was freedom. With no more royal rules, she had the platform and power to speak her truth, follow causes, and step into her own kind of greatness. But instead of focusing on big issues like Princess Diana once did, Meghan chose a quieter path. No speeches, no bold campaigns, no strong public moves, just silence and time in the kitchen, it seems. Now, let's go back for a moment. Remember when Meghan first entered the royal scene? Headlines were full of comparisons to Diana, the new Diana, Diana 2. That was the PR plan. From her clothes to her jewelry to her charity photo shoots, everything was styled to copy the late Princess of Wales. But as time went on, the illusion broke. Meghan wasn't living like Diana, she was only dressing like her. And the royal family, they saw it clearly. Behind the scenes, Prince William, the future king and protective son, set a strong rule. Meghan was not allowed to wear any of Diana's jewelry. Not the necklaces, not the rings, and especially not Diana's famous gold Cartier watch. Why? Because William felt Meghan hadn't earned it. She wasn't royal in duty, and she wasn't royal in spirit. The media, though, had been tricked. For months, maybe years, they published photos of Meghan wearing what they thought was Diana's special watch. It looked sentimental, emotional, like a sweet tribute. But it wasn't true. The watch was fake, a cheap copy, and to many inside the palace, that said it all. When the truth came out, William acted. Magazines were told to quietly correct the mistake. Retractions were printed. Meghan had not been wearing Diana's real watch. She had only given the illusion. And in a family built on legacy, illusions weren't enough. The fallout was obvious. Meghan was furious. Reports say she tried her usual defenses. Claims of racism, blaming the press, painting herself as misunderstood. But William didn't move. He had seen through her from the start. While Harry was falling deeper into the chaos, William stayed steady, protecting his mother's memory with a strength the monarchy rarely shows in public. And this wasn't just about a watch, it was about meaning. Diana's legacy wasn't built on jewelry. It was built on compassion, courage, and quiet strength. Meghan, despite her freedom, had chosen image over purpose. Instead of carrying Diana's mission forward, she copied her look and let the media spin stories that weren't true. That left a bitter taste. Because if imitation is flattery, Meghan's flattery felt empty, fake. And to William, it wasn't flattery at all. It was exploitation. Princess Catherine, by contrast, wore Diana's jewelry not out of entitlement, but trust. She had earned it, not through headlines, but through loyalty and duty. Meghan never did. And so we arrive here, a fake watch, a real rejection, and a royal family caught once again in a battle over image. But this time, the lines are clear. Meghan fooled the cameras, but not William. Not with plastic, not with PR, not with pretending, and not with a borrowed title or borrowed identity. The Cartier watch wasn't just a piece of gold. It was a symbol, one of Diana's last treasures, given by her father before she became the most photographed woman in the world. To see it reduced to a costume piece felt like an insult, especially to those who lived with her loss. For William, it wasn't about fashion. It was about memory and respect. And when Meghan crossed that line, it became personal. But it didn't end there. Meghan's obsession with Diana went further than jewelry. From her hairstyles to her clothes, even the way she entered events, she copied Diana. People noticed. So did insiders. The copying wasn't subtle anymore. Meghan didn't just want to honor Diana. She wanted to be Diana. And that's when it stopped being tribute and started feeling wrong. Catherine, who rarely comments on drama, kept rising with calm dignity. No big shows, no staged quotes. She simply did her work. Charities, hospitals, family visits. And that contrast became clear to everyone. While Meghan showed up with red carpets, podcasts, and staged candid moments, Catherine stayed grounded. And that difference earned her the right to carry Diana's legacy forward. The jewelry wasn't just decoration, it was responsibility. And Meghan didn't qualify. Then came the Netflix pottery scene, a strange moment that raised eyebrows in royal circles. There she was, sleeves rolled up, shaping clay, and wearing what she suggested was Diana's gold watch. The camera angles made sure the watch was visible. Nothing was said, but it didn't need to be. The image spoke, and the media ran headlines. Meghan honors Diana. But when palace insiders realized the watch was fake, anger grew. How many times had she done this? How many pieces had been passed off as Diana's when they weren't? The little trust left crumbled. William's patience ended. And Harry, as usual, stayed silent. The correction was small, hidden in a magazine line, but it was enough. The message was clear. William would not let his mother's legacy be turned into a PR tool. Meghan didn't correct it either. She never does. That's her strategy. Drop the image, let people assume, and when the truth comes out, stay quiet. Silence creates headlines. But that only works if nobody calls it out. And William did. Loudly, firmly, without hesitation. And when the future king speaks, even softly, the world hears it. What looked like a fight over jewelry was really about something deeper. Who has the right to carry Diana's memory? And Meghan is learning that borrowed legacy doesn't last, especially when Diana's own son is guarding it. The jewelry story was only the surface. What it showed was the difference in how Meghan and William saw legacy. For Meghan, legacy was about looks, something to wear, pose with, and post online. For William, legacy was sacred. And when you treat something sacred like a costume, there are consequences. People close to the family say William always kept Diana's jewelry under control, not out of greed, but protection. He knew the weight they carried. So when Harry and Meghan tried to split Diana's jewelry after their wedding, it wasn't a warm family moment. It was a negotiation, and William had the final say. Those stories about Harry giving William Diana's ring for Kate? Nice, but mostly not true. As the elder son, William had the upper hand. Meghan, like it or not, was never going to use his mother's treasures like props. Making it worse, Meghan didn't take the jewelry ban calmly. Sources say she was furious when told she couldn't wear Diana's things. She tried to push back, even suggesting racism. But William didn't give in. He saw her tactics, and he wasn't letting manipulation win. Meghan, however, didn't stop. At public events, she wore imitation jewelry that looked like Diana's, enough to spark headlines, clear enough to stir drama. And it worked. The press loved it until William forced corrections. That small line in the magazine might have looked minor, but it was sharp, deliberate, and powerful. William sent a message. Diana's memory was not for sale, and if you tried to fake it, you'd be exposed. It's a sad situation. Meghan had the chance to build something real. Humanitarian work, education, women's rights. She had the platform, but she didn't use it. Instead of making her own path, she tried to take one that wasn't hers. Instead of earning respect, she borrowed it. And that's why she'll never be Diana. Because Diana's greatness wasn't about clothes or jewels. It was about heart. Meghan had the spotlight, but she chose the mirror. William isn't perfect. No royal is. But in this case, he stood strong for something that mattered. He protected his mother's legacy not with interviews or shows, but with calm strength. He knew the difference between honor and exploitation. And Meghan had crossed into exploitation. As for Harry, his silence is painful. He was once the loudest defender of Diana's name. Now he stands by as it's twisted for attention. Maybe it's love, maybe confusion, maybe blind loyalty, but he's faded into the background of his own family's legacy. Meghan, meanwhile, keeps up the act. One staged watch, one fake nod at a time. But the trick is wearing thin. People are catching on. And William isn't backing down. In the end, the real jewels weren't behind glass. They were truth, dignity, and loyalty. And Meghan never had those. William did. And that's why she was never allowed to wear them.